Guys, welcome into the Broncos breakdown. Before we get into today's video, go ahead and like this video if you got the Broncos over the Raiders. I'll give you my prediction later on, but I know you got the Broncos winning, or I hope you do, so give us a thumbs up. Welcome into today's Broncos breakdown. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson, and it is presented to you guys by BetQL. It's the #1 sportsbook app out there to compare betting odds. They give you the best insight information, so check them out, BetQL. Visit the link, chatsports.com/BroncosQL with the promo code ChatBroncos, all in the comments and the description of this video. Week 6 preview now. Broncos, Raiders. Both teams started the season off 3-0. Both teams have dropped their last two, entering 3-2. Before we get a little deeper into the matchup, let's do our homework. Let's check over what the Raiders have done, though, through 5 games so far this season. There you see it, that perfect 3-0 start. I thought they were capital F frauds in those 3 games. Never bought into it, and they have showed me why the last 2 weeks, just putting up a horrible performance on offense. Just a single touchdown a week ago against the Chicago Bears, losing 20-9 at home. So that's kind of the tail of the tape so far for the Raiders. Let's get a little deeper into this matchup here. We got some nooks and crannies, some nuggets to go over here. So the Raiders have had a bit of an advantage over the Broncos. Nothing new, unfortunately, over Denver. Like I said, the last couple of matchups, winning their last 4 out of 5. But if you haven't heard, the Raiders may, I don't know, have a distraction this week, per se, potentially with the head coach. Who knows? Looking at you, Jon Gruden, and interim head coach Rich Bisaccia. Broncos, meanwhile, they have been abysmal, as producer RC would say, on 3rd down and in the red zone. So those are the 2 things I'm watching right there. Broncos 3.5-point favorites, over under at 44.5. There's a lot to talk about, but first, before we get into that, help us reach 4,300 subscribers. We are almost there. If you haven't subscribed already, we're just like 16 away. So go ahead, hit that big red subscribe button. We'll lock you into more Broncos news and rumors all season long. Going back to this matchup, Broncos hosting the Raiders. First division showdown of the season. A lot's on the line here, I think, because this is a Broncos team that had all the momentum to start the season. People said, well, look who you're playing. You're not playing anyone good. You're not playing anyone good. And they have been proven right so far. And that's why I'm labeling this as a must-win game. You can't lose this one. You can't start off the season 3-0 and follow it up with 3 straight losses. You can't do it to a Raiders team that has everything going on in the world that's labeled as a distraction, and that could easily result in them not coming out focused. Tons of stuff going on over in Vegas. This has to be a win for the Broncos. Plain and simple. Go 4-2. That's fine right there. 4-2, you're very much in the conversation for a playoff spot. 3-3, 3 straight losses. Very different story. This has must-win game feel all over it, and it's only week 6, but that's where we're at right now. So let me invite you into the conversation. Predict the score for me. Broncos, Raiders. Who you got in this one? You're going to get hit with an YouTube ad break. Go on down to the pinned comment, reply with your score prediction. I'm going to give you mine in just a moment. I got the Broncos over the Raiders 29-13. This one isn't even close. The Raiders offense has been not hot trash, cold trash. That's really bad trash the last couple of weeks. Raiders have had the advantage over Denver the last couple of matchups, but I don't care. Give me the Broncos in a blowout, 29-13. And you know where you can also make some good money? Over at BetQL. They've got a great deal for you where they give you a year-long free of their awesome service. And all you got to do is go to chatsports.com/BroncosQL. Sign up with the promo code ChatBroncos. They hook you up with 25% off. That year-long free subscription will come a little later. Just going to tease it right there. But check them out in the comments and the description of this video. Guys, don't lose money this season. Football season, unfortunately, has gone by way too fast, but it's not too late. If you haven't made enough money already, go ahead and do that right now over at BetQL. Raiders offense versus Broncos defense. This is what I'm really looking at right here, because I think the Broncos offense just has to do enough. and it won't be that tough of sledding against the Raiders. So, looking at the two comparisons here right now, the Raiders offense got off to a hot start the first couple games. They have slowed down, so I don't think these numbers are truly indicative of what they have done as of late. Meanwhile, for the Broncos defense, they've kind of been bullied the last 2 weeks against a pair of AFC North teams. What a time to get right against Derek Carr, I would think. Here's what Carr's numbers look like all time against Denver. He's played the Broncos 13 times, 7-6 overall, and he's done pretty well, okay? Not a new story. 226 yards per game. All right, that's a little low for Carr. He's never been a huge passer, though, but 14 touchdowns and 6 interceptions and just over 65% completion percentage. Yeah, those are pretty good days for Derek Carr, and he's 7-6 overall. But me and the Raiders report host Mitchell Renz kind of go back and forth every now and then talking about, is Derek Carr really a good quarterback? So let me hear from the best fan base. Do you guys think Derek Carr is a good quarterback? Type G for good, type B for bad. I think he's a bad quarterback. I really do. I think he's the kind of quarterback that a lot needs to go right for him. And you just can't have that when you're this far into your NFL career. You got to be the guy that can fix things without needing help. Everyone's got one in the office. Derek Carr, he's just not that guy. And he's partially due because when he plays the Broncos, this guy is running his tail all up and down the field. Talking about Von Miller. 16 games in his career versus the Raiders. He's 10-6 when he plays Las Vegas. Missed those 2 losses last year. And he's put up some of his best numbers. 9 sacks, a 5 forced fumble count, which is the highest against any team. Now, of course, it helps when you play a team twice every season, but still, it looks like Von just hits an extra gear when he plays against the Raiders. So, Von Miller got off to a fantastic start. Wouldn't say slowing down, but it's just difficult to keep that up as an edge rusher all season long. Maybe he kind of gets back into a boost like a Mario Kart, fast lane or something like that against Las Vegas. Now, let's switch gears here. Let's get into my keys to the game. I got 3 keys for this game. If you guys are looking for boring keys, you come to the wrong place. I like to spice things up here, get a little fun, get a little realistic at times. We find a nice balance. So, key number 1, give us weeks 1 through 3 Teddy. Weeks 1 through 3 Teddy were fantastic. Weeks 4 and 5, different conversation, and partially due to, of course, partially is an understatement, a concussion in week 4 against the Ravens, but week 5, just too slow to start. He had more yards in the fourth quarter than quarters 1 through 3 combined. You just can't do that on the road. I want the fast start. I want the pedal to the metal, airing it out, looking deep. Teddy Bridgewater may help with John Brown. He's on the practice squad, the wide receiver they just picked up in replace of Josh Malone. He's not going to be active most likely for this game, but maybe the next couple weeks after that, the speedster going to help stretch this offense down the field, which they desperately miss after losing Judy and KJ Hamler. Guys, we'll get to my other 2 keys in just a moment, but now let's talk about our friends over at BetMGM, who've got a great partnership with BetQL. So, I mentioned that free BetQL subscription service? Well, BetMGM is the way to do it. When you go over to chatsports.com/BroncosMGM, you sign up, you put $10 in, you spend $10, boom, you got free BetQL for a whole year. BetQL gives you some of their best bets each and every week. They rank them from 5 to 1 stars. I love BetQL, but most importantly, I love making money over my sports book. They let you compare your bets. They let you keep track. It's a great service. Get the app, get BetQL. Everything you need to know in the comments and the description of this video. Key number 2, put a wall on Waller, okay? I don't care if it's the Berlin Wall. Name your favorite wall. I want it on Darren Waller. Do not let this guy change the game. He has the capability to do that. It's been seen time and time again. Shut it down. Get John Taffer on the field and close this bar because Waller is not drinking at Mile High this week. Also, I had no idea he went to Georgia Tech. Fun fact, I guess. Had no clue at all. But what I think is going to be the main reason to slow down Waller, the big hope is Justin Simmons, okay? This is probably going to be the number 1 matchup. I don't think they're going to stick Simmons on an island with Waller. That's just a tough task for anyone in the NFL because Waller is top 2 tight end after Kelsey, You can probably move around Kittle, but Kittle's been injured lately. Anyway, we digress. I think Simmons, his number one priority will be shutting down Waller for most of the game. Simmons and Kareem Jackson just haven't lived up to the hype, in my humble opinion, through 5 games. What a time to turn it around than just removing Darren Waller from the game. So that is key number 2. Key number 3, hinted at this earlier during the start of the video, finish series and drives. The Broncos, surprise, surprise, have been horrible on third down. Look where they rank across the NFL. This is 32 to 28. Number 28 is the Chicago Bears at 32.8%. You go past this is bad company to be in. The Jags, the Lions, Washington, and guess who's at number 32? That's right, the Denver Broncos, last in the NFL with 28.6%. You got to keep your offense on the field. This defense is not a work in progress, but it's not living up to the payroll it's been given so far. Give it some extra breaks. No more 3 and outs like the first handful of drives against the Steelers. Have to move the chains on third down. Also got to convert when you get to the red zone. Like, I don't know, not spiking a football in the end zone, Javonte Williams, when you're at the 1-yard line and push things back and it gets 3 points out of it. Look where the Broncos rank in terms of the NFL across the entire league. They're at 29th right now. This is touchdowns percentage scored when entering the red zone. So Broncos have scored a touchdown 42% of times. They have entered the red zone. That number's got to be up. You know why? Because the top is the Saints, and I didn't think Jameis Winston could do that, but they're at 90%. Look how far of a gap that is. You can't have that. Broncos got to clean up the series and got to clean up in the red zone. Got a little passionate there. Want to see the Broncos knock off the Raiders, but let me invite you into this conversation. What keys did I miss in this game? Let me know where I went wrong, where I went right. Would love to have a good conversation down in the comments because has there ever been a unhealthy and progressive and fluid conversation in YouTube comments? No, of course not. There's always very clean language right there. So comment below what keys I missed.